Okay, welcome to Brains. My name is Kinsley Agbuche. All right. So today's topic is Introduction to HTML. Now, HTML means Hypertext Markup Language. HTML means what? Hypertext Markup Language. Now, let me quickly say this: HTML is not a programming language. HTML is not a programming language. We have programming languages like JavaScript, Python, PHP. But HTML is not a programming language, okay? It's just a markup language. For your front-end development, you'll be needing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that's why I'm starting HTML series, okay, on this channel. So ensure you click the subscribe button, okay? If you haven't done that, ensure you subscribe. Now, HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. HTML describes the structure of web pages using markup. HTML elements are the building blocks of a web page. HTML elements are the building blocks of a web page. So in this video today, we'll be talking about HTML documents. We'll be talking about tags. We'll be talking about elements. We'll be talking about nesting elements in this video. Okay, so I'm using Sublime Text as my editor, so I'll want us to go to Sublime now and write some code. Okay, so now this is my Sublime Text, and let me quickly say this. Now, you cannot write a JavaScript code or some JavaScript codes inside a Python file. Okay, you cannot write Python codes inside a JavaScript file. So why am I saying this? So for we to write a HTML codes, or to write HTML codes, it has to be inside HTML file. All right, so that means you have to save your file name. Your extension of your file has to be what? HTML. Your file extension has to be what? HTML. Okay, so you are not supposed to write codes, HTML codes that are not inside HTML file. Do you get it? So for you to do that now, if you are using Sublime like me, what we'll do is we'll press Ctrl N to create a new file. Now this is unsaved, so to save we'll press Ctrl X to save. Now, so I'll give it a name, a file name of HTML class, let's say class 1. Now the extension, which is very important, must be h.html. okay, this shows that we are having what? An HTML file. Now we want to talk about HTML documents. So HTML document starts with what we call the documents declaration. Doc type, which is doc type HTML. Then the next thing is the HTML tag. All right, so now let me talk about the HTML tag. Now it's divided into two, which is the head and the body. Okay, now for the head, whatever is written inside the head of your HTML tag will not display on the browser. Let me say that again. Whatever is written inside the head of the HTML tag will not display on the browser. Now we are having a title tag whereby we can write the title of the page. Let's say HTML class by Brains. Now for you to display whatever you're writing your code on the browser, you have to save it first. Ensure you save your files, very important. And to save is very simple, just Ctrl X, you're done. So this is what it's now. How do you know if your file has not been saved? You see this is showing bullets, but when I save it, it's changed to what? 2 times. All right, so now if you want to open your code, you want to view it in the browser, you do right click, then you go to open in browser. And You see your code in the browser. Now, if you look at our browser is empty. Why? Because why? We've not written anything inside the body. Okay, the body takes the content, while the head tag just takes title and others. So you can see we wrote HTML class 1. All right, so you can see this is what we wrote in the title. Now let's go back to our code. Let's go back to our Sublime and write some things in the body. So let's say HTML class 1 by Brains. Right, so we'll save it. Now let's view this. Let's view this in the browser. Okay, I'm saving this. Then let's view this in the browser. So you can see HTML class 1 by what? By Brains. Okay, so what you just need to do, you just refresh, you get it, whatever you've written. HTML class 1 by what? By Brains. So this was what we wrote in the body. All right, so if you want to write anything and see it in the browser, you have to write it inside the body. Okay, it has to be written inside the body. Now let's continue. So everything here from line 2 to line 12, it's the HTML document. Now let's talk about tag. So what are tags? What are tags? Okay, so this is just a tag. This is an h1 tag, right? Okay, so this is just a tag, right? This is a tag. Okay, this is a tag. This is what a tag. Now in HTML elements are made up of a start tag, a content inside, and a closing tag. Now tag can be start and can be what close or end tag. Okay, so for h1, this is h1 tag. Okay, this is the starting tag, then this is the closing tag for h1. For paragraph, this is the starting tag, then this is the closing tag. Okay, so when I want to write heading, I can use h1 towards h6. I'll talk more about that. Now when I now have the content inside it, like hello world, so your start tag with the content and the end tag makes up an HTML element. All right, so this makes up elements. So an element is made up of the start tag, content inside, and a close tag. So this is an HTML element. Everything in line 10 is an HTML element. So if I write something inside this paragraph like Kingsley is a friend of Kevin. Alright, Kingsley is a friend of Kevin. So everything inside here is what? An element. Do you get it now? So this makes up an element. So this is a P element. Alright, P element is okay. So now it's inside of the P tag. So everything here, the start tag, the content inside, and the closing tag makes up an HTML element. Okay, now let's view this in our browser. Let's view this in our browser. So what you do is you can just go to your browser. You can go to your browser and just refresh the page. Control arrow. Oh, I don't think I've saved it. So let's go back. Ensure you save. Ensure you save. So let's save. Control X. Then go back to our browser and do Control R. So we have what? Hello world. Kingsley is a friend of Kevin. So this is what I wrote inside the body. So this is the HTML element, all right, that gave us this. Okay, this is the H2 or whatever we wrote there. Then this is the paragraph. Kingsley is a friend of Kevin. So that's how to create an HTML element. Okay, so hope you understand what HTML elements are. So let's go back to our VS Code. Let's go back to our Sublime. I said VS Code. Okay, so now, so that's HTML elements. Now let's talk about nesting elements. Nesting elements. Now, what's nesting element? Now, it simply means an element inside another element. Okay, so let's say I want to have a div and I want to have some elements inside this div. So I'm nesting some element inside this now. Say nested element 1, element 1. Okay, right, so element 2, element 3, and element 4. So all these are nested inside the what? The div. Do you get it now? So when you have some elements inside another element, they are called what? Nested what? Elements. Do you get it now? You can also have let me create another one. Let's say a UL first tag. Then we have closing tag. Then we have an li, which is list. Okay. Then let me see hello world. Hello world. So when I Control C and Control V. So let's view this on our browser and see. Now, this is what you are seeing here. These are nested. They are nested inside the what? The UL. All right. Then the paragraph 2, they are nested inside the div. Okay. So these are what? Nesting of what? Elements. Okay. So we can go to our browser and see. But before, you have to save. Don't forget to save. Then we'll control. Okay. So this you can see it now. These are the things we'll type. And so nested element 2, nested element 3. Okay. So we can see them already. So we can see the hello world, the hello world, hello world. So these are all what? Nested what? Elements. Okay. So now let's continue. I want to continue with I want to talk about headings. Okay, headings. All right. So we'll be using the H1 to H6 tags to create headings. Okay. Let's quickly talk about headings. We'll be using the H1, so you can see H1 tag, H2, H3, H4, H5 to create headings. Okay, so let's quickly create some headings so you see the difference. All right, let's go. H1, hello world. H2, hello world. H3, hello world. H4, hello world. All right, it's up to H6, but there is no H7. Okay, hello world. Then finally H6, hello world. So let's save. So we'll save Ctrl X, then we'll go to our browser. Go to our browser and Ctrl R. So you can see we have hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world. You can see the difference. Okay, so you can see how it is. So these are what headings. You can see the difference. So it depends on the kind of heading you want to create. Okay, so we can also style them as well. We can style them, but when we get to styling, you will know more about that. So I'll have to end this video for now, then we'll continue with the next video. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel and watch out for the next video. All right, thank you.